welcome. This is Hena Talati and you are watching It's Tomorrow News. Today we have an interesting topic to discuss, that is iceberg. What is an iceberg? Icebergs are pieces of the ice that are formed on land and float in an ocean or lake. Icebergs come in all shapes and sizes, from ice cube sized chunks to islands in the size of small country. The North Atlantic and cold waters surrounding Antarctica are home to the most of the icebergs on Earth. Glaciers and icebergs are the terms that are often used interchangeably, but glaciers and icebergs are two different things. A glacier is positioned on the land entirely above the waterlines, and an iceberg is mostly underwater with only a small percentage of ice block above the surface. Glaciers are also kilometers or miles long and are inlands, whereas icebergs are smaller independent chunks that migrate around the polar regions of the ocean. Icebergs are formed when chunks of the ice calve or break off from the glaciers, ice shelves, or larger icebergs. Icebergs can also serve as a tools for scientists who study them to learn more about climate and ocean processes. Some icebergs simply melt away while others collapse more violently. Some icebergs never move into the warmer waters and may last 50 years or more. Once in a while, a monster breaks free from the edge of the Antarctica and drifts away. These gigantic bodies of ice slowly but steadily creep their ways from the mountains to the oceans for countless years, like great rivers and ice. These gigantic icebergs do not have an easy path. They crash and bounce along any relatively shallow region of the seafloor and wipe out anything in their way. Further complicating matters is the ship's constant motion, as their immense weight causes them to flow outward from the thick center toward the thinner periphery. The size of icebergs vary widely. When an iceberg reaches warm waters, the new climate attacks it from all sides. Here, the warm water laps at the iceberg edges, melting the ice and causing chunks of ice to break off. These chunks of iceberg pose a danger to ships passing through the North Atlantic and waters around Antarctica. After the Titanic sank near Newfoundland in 1912, the United States and 12 other countries formed the International Ice Patrol to warn ships of icebergs in North Atlantic. The tallest known iceberg in the North Atlantic was 550 feet above sea level. Since the bulk of an iceberg is below the water, the entire berg was estimated to be as tall as 55-story building. Most of the icebergs are white in color, but some may appear blue or green. Ice is full of tiny air bubbles that scatter all the colors wavelengths of the same amount, giving the ice a white appearance. If the ice is compressed, the bubbles are squeezed out and the blue light is scattered much more than other colors, making the ice appear blue. Icebergs travel with ocean currents, sometimes smashing up against the shore or getting caught in shallow waters. Icebergs float in salt water because they are formed by calving or splitting of glaciers and are thus made of fresh water. Icebergs float because as water freezes, it expands and becomes less dense than the water it sits in. Only 1/10 of an iceberg is above the surface, depending on the age of the iceberg. 99% of the world's glaciers are found in the polar regions. But glaciers can also be found in Argentina, Peru, China, India, and New Zealand. In the northern hemisphere, Greenland is known for its abundant glaciers, such as Glacier. Most icebergs in the northern hemisphere break off from glaciers in Greenland. Sometimes they drift south with currents into the North Atlantic Ocean. In the southern hemisphere, almost all icebergs are carved from the continent of Antarctica. The mighty Perito Moreno Glacier is one of the most spectacular examples of carved iceberg from Antarctica. This glacier has floated from Antarctica to Patagonia in Argentina, which is in the southern hemisphere. Located in Los Glaciers National Park, the Perito Moreno Glacier is one of the largest of the 48 glaciers from Patagonia's southern ice field. Perhaps the most interesting of Perito Moreno Glacier facts is its sheer scale. Covering a total of 100 square miles, the glacier is 3 miles wide and rises 78 meters above the Lake Lago Argentino, with its deepest point stretching to approximately 700 meters. The Perito Moreno Glacier is the third largest reserve of fresh water on the planet after Antarctica and Greenland ice sheets. This glacier is advancing, moving forward around 2 meters a day. It is the giant 250 km square ice formation that is over 30 kilometers in length and 5 kilometers wide and has an average height of 74 meters. Its total depth beneath the Argentino lake is 170 meters, making it the world's third largest reserve of water. The Perito Moreno Glacier is also one of the only 3 Patagonian glaciers which still continue to grow. Approximately 90% of an iceberg is found underwater. That is an amazing statistics to consider given the massive size of some icebergs, but the very fact that ice floats is pretty remarkable. Although icebergs are living, icebergs do have a life cycle. They begin as a part of a glacier, building for tens of the thousands of the years and slowly moving towards the ocean. Once an iceberg calves, it typically lasts for 3 to 6 years, shorter if it floats into the warmer water. That's all for now. For more news updates, stay tuned with us. It's Tomorrow News, Hena Talati. For more weather updates like this, and please subscribe our channel.